Allahu Akbar.
When I was 3 years old, my parents got killed by my so-called godfather.
Allahu Akbar.
So I was in the house, I was 3 years old, I got shot in the foot. I had a 6-month-old brother and I had a 4-year-old brother in the house. Alhamdulillah, you know, nothing happened to us. We was after the death of my parents, I moved to Irvington, New Jersey with my grandparents. The people that killed my parents, they was from a group of people called the Nation of Islam. So at this time, when I moved to my grandmother, they was Christians. So I kind of, you know, of course, my mother, father, being that when they passed away, I was young. I had no influence and no teachings of Islam. So I was raised with my grandparents they was Christians. They was Christians. So eventually they started preaching Christianity and trying to force it upon us. So growing up in Irvington, New Jersey, in a household with it was a bunch of us in one household, me, a couple cousins, and things like that. When we start getting up to age, we started hanging on the street like everybody else in the city. You know what I mean? When you get bored, you start hanging in the streets and things like that. But at a young age, I was trying to figure a way to get out of the hood. I was seeing people that, you know, growing up with, that they was turning into drug selling, stolen cars back in the day. This was happening around my way. But I always wanted to get away from this lifestyle and get out of there. So one of the things I started doing, I started writing. And one of the persons that inspired me, we had a family friend by the name of Queen Latifah. So when she used to come over the house, I used to see her come over the house, man. And then a couple months later, or a year later, I heard on the radio. So when I heard on the radio, I said, man, she was just in my living room. She made it. I think I could make it. Let me just start getting serious with writing and things like that. So I started getting serious. Even to the point, like, I started performing at the local areas, the local house parties in my neighborhood, and just rapping on the block and things like that, man. Rapping for $1 head, brothers giving me $1 head, $2 head to say raps for them. But when I started getting serious, I had a childhood friend by the name of Gaddafi. This is the half brother of Tupac. And from a childhood friend, when we grew up, we lost contact with each other. So a couple years later, when I became a teenager, I ran into his mother. Out here in Newark, and I asked about Gaddafi. I said, "Where's Gaddafi?" You know, she told me that Gaddafi is living in Atlanta now, and he also does rap music. And I told her, I said, that's cool because I'm trying to do rap music. She said, as a matter of fact, Gaddafi got a brother named 2Pac. Did you ever hear 2Pac? I said, yeah. This is when 2Pac first came out with he had the album 2Pac-it now, strictly for something. You know, strictly for my, I can't say it, but so he came out with this. He came out strictly for my niggas. It's not a curse word, you know. Some people is really that. Alhamdulillah. So, but he came out with these albums, so I heard of him. And, she told me that was his half brother, and they coming to New York real soon. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give him the number, so when they come, you can meet him. Like the brother said in the biography. So when Tupac came to New York, he already heard about the story. So I guess hearing about the story of my mother and father kind of softened his heart, where he said, I want to meet this kid and things like that. So eventually after that, Tupac got shot in New York, and then he got arrested. So when he got arrested in New York, I was still down in Atlanta, and we was still doing music with the rest of the group, and with me, Gaddafi, it was another member named Idi Amin, who's a cousin of Tupac. Alhamdulillah, Idi Amin he took Shahada now, alhamdulillah, and Castro, who was Tupac's cousin. So we was doing music down there, waiting till Tupac come home. When Pac got released from jail, he signed a record deal with Death Row Records. I'm sure people heard of Death Row Records. So he said, when I come home, we're gonna move to Los Angeles, and we signed a deal with Death Row Records. At this time, Death Row Records was one of the most powerful record labels within rap music in the world at that time. You know what I mean? It was selling the most records out of anything, so it was a big move for him, for the dunya.
Allahu ashmai madi تجيد لنا كريوي ما في انتوني اسلام شو فيش نبغاتوي